This is Roots. People sometimes ask me where my love for travel began. The funny thing is, I think it started long before I ever traveled anywhere. For years, I called myself a couchside traveler. Long before Google, long before YouTube, long before travel blogs. There were atlases, Reader's Digest, National Geographic, Encyclopedia. These became my passports to places I had never been. My dad's greatest gift to my sister Chantal and I were books, not toys, not expensive presents, books. He quietly placed the world into our hands. But he did something else too. He made those pages come alive. When he told us about the fish that walked out of the sea, the coelacanth wasn't just another strange creature in a textbook. It became real. Years later, walking through Iziko Museums, I stood in front of the coelacanth on display. I remember smiling. It felt as though I was finally meeting someone I had known all my life. Listening to Dad tell the story, I was convinced he had personally known J.L.B. Smith. That was his gift. He made distant people feel close. The Karoo was another place that lived in my imagination. Not dry, not empty, not endless rocks. In my mind, it was lush, filled with rivers where dinosaurs wandered through the landscape, very different from the one we know today. I could see them, almost hear them. Looking back now, I realized Dad wasn't teaching us geography. He was teaching us curiosity. I've always been curious about places, but even more than that, I've been curious about people. The people who give a place its character. The stories they choose to tell, and sometimes the stories they keep hidden. That probably explains why I'm drawn to old buildings, weathered houses, broken windows, peeling paint. Most people see something abandoned. I find myself asking different questions. Who lived here? Who laughed here? Who waited by that window? What happened? Photography became my natural extension of that curiosity. Through the viewfinder, I freeze a moment in time. Only later, while editing the photos, do I often notice things I completely missed. A face, a shadow, a glance, a tiny detail quietly telling its own story. The photograph stops time, but somehow the story keeps speaking. It's also strange when I say I feel at home in places I've never been. France, India. There's something familiar about them. Perhaps because I traveled there long before I ever had the opportunity to go. I've come to believe that travel does not begin with a passport, or an airline ticket, or a suitcase, for that matter. Travel begins with wonder. Wonder that refuses to stay still. Wonder that keeps asking, what if? Maybe I was never really a couchside traveler after all. Maybe every book, every map, every photograph was quietly preparing me for the journeys that would eventually come. This is Roots. And perhaps before Wanderlust comes wonder.